Hey guys, good morning. Um, so I'm making this video primarily kind of address the guy who had the Tai Chi fight. He's the one who said he could beat Mike Tyson. Look, if you watch Jerry's videos on this whole thing with his fight commentary, the fight commentary channel, um, it makes a lot of this stuff so it's really great because you get to kind of see what's going on. Um, uh, the whole thing with Shu Xiaodong, most people misunderstand that, at least in the Chinese martial arts sense, because they think he's out there challenging these guys. He doesn't challenge these guys at all. Um, I've talked about that, and if you go to Mushin Martial Culture, he's got an entire series of interviews about this whole thing with Shu Xiaodong, who explains, this whole stuff and how these people are they're doing these challenges because they don't like being called out um, for pretty much for the frauds they are, because they really are frauds. Um, Tai Chi Chuan, when it comes to martial arts, when it comes to fighting, it's got kind of a long, complicated history with this stuff. Um, when you go back to kind of the early to mid, you know, 1912 to 19 the late 1930s. Okay, we call this the Republican period in China. A lot of these Tai Chi Chuan practitioners, um, Tai Chi Chuan really started to flourish back then. Really started to flourish back then, and they when something flourishes like this, when something gets big, you get a wide range of skill levels in martial arts and practitioners and stuff like that, and you get a lot of various levels of what you know why people do something. A lot of them, the majority of them are going to be doing it for their health or because it's something they're interested in, or same as it is today. The the fighters and the people who do it for fighting, essentially, they're going to always be far and few between. They're always going to be the minority, because most people, believe it or not, don't like getting hurt. They don't like violence. They don't like being punched in the face, and that's normal. That's actually not a bad thing. Um, even in olden times, the warriors of certain societies and cultures were always the minority, and they were the protectors and the people who guarded the society and culture. This is not a bad thing. Um, Not everyone needs to be a fighter. Not everybody who wants to do a martial art needs to be able to um, try to be the best to defeat everybody. Uh, that's okay. Um, Generally, some martial arts, in the past and even nowadays, are far more known for their ability to fight than their health aspects and stuff like that, which is usually a benefit of learning how to fight. But that being said, let's come back to Tai Chi Chuan for a second. So Jerry makes a really good point on one of his videos regarding this, how um, Tai Chi Chuan practitioners don't spend enough time practicing striking and getting struck. They spend too much time with push hands, stuff like that. Especially nowadays, spending too much time with the stationary push hands. When I started learning Tai Chi about 20, 25 years ago, it was definitely more than 20 years ago. Um, really, we didn't really do any striking or anything like that. It was always implied. We spent a lot of time doing kind of um, fixed step, stationary push hands where you don't really move your feet. Um, that was really kind of the extent of the combat stuff. Um, then when I started training and practicing with Tim Cartmill, that's when I started doing more kind of pad work and stuff like that. But you know, that's Tim Cartmill. Tim Cartmill's been training fighters and stuff like that. Um, Even back in the you know early 2000s, when MMA really wasn't very popular at the time. Um, and a lot of his influence is what got me to kind of go into more things like kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and combat sports. Um, so I think that is definitely a very valid point. And this guy who says he could beat Mike Tyson and stuff like that and stop him in his tracks. Look, man, anybody who believes that, anybody who thinks that they can stop a pro boxer, you know, with their magical Tai Chi, you've never even sparred a boxer before, and I guarantee you haven't. I guarantee you haven't sparred a kickboxer or someone who fights in Muay Thai, Muay Thai fighter, because the moment you spend time sparring with somebody like that, sparring with someone who's kind of a decent amateur, you're gonna realize that there are levels to this that um, someone who's gotten comfortable fighting, you know, I think that's something you should be aware of. Um, so when we see these Tai Chi practitioners, they they really don't they really just they just don't have that experience, and I think that experience is really important. I honestly I recommend cross training. I really recommend you go to a Muay Thai school or gym or Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or MMA or anything like that. Take a couple classes a week, 1 or 2 times a week. You'll get that experience very fast. It will give you that mirror, that lens, that ability to see things outside of that very small bubble. Um, and I think that's really important. If you really want to grow, if you really want to do this for martial arts, for fighting, stuff like that, get that experience. It's okay. Um, there's always gonna be that idiot online is gonna be like, oh, it's not internal, blah blah blah. Listen, when I hear that, when I automatically think, okay, this person just doesn't know. They don't understand what they're talking about. They've heard something. They believe the mystical stories and all this nonsense and stuff like that, and they just don't know. So, you know, as Robin McDojo says, McDojo Life says, just keep the martial arts legit. If you want to do it for fighting, if you want to do it for combat, fantastic, do it. Okay, cross train. Cross train is super important. Get in there, do it. If you don't, if you just want to stay in your little bubble, just stay in your little bubble. But don't pretend that your little bubble is the greater bubble of martial arts. Because it's not. It really isn't. So let's keep martial arts real. Let's keep it going. Keep practicing, everybody. And cheers.